Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Luna and I make Animal Crossing videos every single week. So if you're into Fairycore or decorating videos or Animal Crossing in general, maybe consider subscribing to join our little AC family. Last week we decorated our last villager yard for this island, which was for Peanut. I love how it turned out. If you're interested to see how I created this, I'll leave a link to this video in the time cards on top that will take you straight to that video, and I'll also leave the link to this video in the description below. In today's video, we will be creating something a little bit different but very on theme. We will be creating a mini fairy village. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So here is the area that I'll be decorating. I did carve out some space before I started recording just to save some time, but I will show you guys the entire area before I start decorating. And I wanted to give you guys an overview of how the space looks before we do anything, just in case you guys are trying to recreate this for your island. I will be creating a bunch of waterfalls and adding a couple of trees, so I'm just making sure I have enough space for that. So I'm going to start by adding all of the waterfalls to some of the cliffs. And for those of you that are following along as I'm decorating all of these areas and connecting each one, this area is near the back of my island to the left side, and this area is also behind Peanut's yard, so I'm connecting her yard with this one, and this area is also behind Peanut's yard, so I'm just picking up where I left off in the last video where I decorated Peanut's yard, and I'm just trying to connect the back of her house with this area. In one of these upcoming videos, I'm going to be decorating the section next to this. I'm thinking of adding a bridge next to this, but we'll see what I do, just because next to this area is the museum and my Able Sisters shop, and I have such a large area in the middle that I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to decorate and connect the two areas together. It's been months since I've been saying that, and I still haven't figured out what I want to do there, but I feel like I just have to start decorating the areas little by little and making my way to that area. Eventually I'll figure out how I'm going to connect everything, but we'll see if that plan works out. So far it's been working. I wasn't actually going to create this fairy village, but I remembered that I created one on my first Fairycore island, and I thought, why don't I just create one for this island? But I wanted to do something a little bit different than how I did it before. I did create one a little bit bigger than this, and I thought maybe I should do one for this island but make it a little bit smaller just so I can have some space to decorate other things. So I'm going to be creating two floating islands here, but one of them is going to be bigger than the other. One of them will have two trees, while the smaller one is going to have a mum cushion and a different item, maybe a bush or something. I really love adding mum cushions on floating islands because it looks like a floating flower. And don't worry, I did get that present balloon. I always try to pop the red ones because it's 95% always a recipe, and I'm in the cherry blossom season, so I'm trying to get all of the cherry blossom DIYs. I used to let the balloons just float on by because back when this game came out, the stuff in the balloons weren't that good, or at least the ones that I was getting, but lately they've been giving me really good items. But yeah, once I finish waterscaping this area, we will be done with the landscaping. So here's how the area looks before I start adding all of the items and the greenery. This is a down view of the first part of this area, and here's a better view of the top part of the waterfalls. So now on to my favorite part when I create my builds, which is to decorate the area. I'm going to start in this section first, and then I'm going to make my way back. I'm going to fill in all of these small spaces here with a bunch of the bushes and the flowers and some cute little items too. Here I'm going to add the dollhouse, but I realized that I couldn't move the dollhouse once I placed it at this angle, so I just adjusted it for now. And then once I fixed it, I just added the house back, and then I'm just adding a common butterfly model here and a bush. And now we're going to make our way to the middle part, which is my favorite part because this is where I'm going to be adding the two trees, and then later on I'm going to add another tree on the top part. It's going to look like this huge cherry blossom tree. Then I'm adding a Nova light here alongside these star clocks and another dollhouse. I'm going to be adding a lot of dollhouses here because they look like little mini fairy houses. And then here is where I'm going to be adding the mum cushion. And then for this area, I'm not going to add a lot of things. I'm just going to fill it up with some custom designs, and I'm going to add one tree in the back with a little seating area. And I'm not focusing too much on this area because I may or may not change this later on depending on how I'm going to decorate my peninsula area. I'm just going to save that area for a small spaces video, but if I do change it, I'll definitely show you guys what I ended up doing. Also, if you want to download any of the custom designs that I use in this video, I do have a video up on my channel where I list all of the custom designs that I used, and I will link that video in the description below, and I'll also leave a link to that video in the time cards on top to make it a lot easier. So we're just going to add the seating area for me and my villagers, and then I'm going to make my way to the back part and just start decorating. About a year ago, I saw someone add 3 trees, 2 of them at the bottom and 1 on top to make it look like this giant tree. And then they put a dollhouse in the middle to make it look like a tree house or like a little mini house. And I just fell in love with that idea. Although I never recreated it, I just kept that in mind because I thought one day I'm going to make it, and today is that day. And it just looks so cool when you look at it from a distance, which I'll show you guys how it looks at the end. For this top area, I'm just filling it in with some items. I wanted to add more cherry blossom trees up here, but when I did add them, it kind of blended all of the cherry blossom trees together, and I really wanted the giant tree to stand out more. So instead, I just added a mini hardwood tree and some giant vines. I like the giant vines because the tip of it you can see from far away, and it gives the area more height and more texture. And I'm also filling this area in with more trees, and I did add some more doll houses because you can see it from far away. I kept going back and forth to the other side to make sure that you can actually see everything. So this build was super tedious but super obsessed with how it's turning out. But once I add this glowing moss and this bush, we are done with the build. So here is how the build looks during the day. I will show you guys how it looks at night or during 5 a.m, which is the time that I think I'll be saving my dream address to. But look how stunning it looks. I'm so obsessed with it, and it will look a lot better at 5 a.m because the doll houses have lights in them, so they'll pop out a lot more. The dollhouse in the middle with all of the trees surrounding it is just my favorite part of this whole build. And here's how the middle section looks. I am obsessed with this area so much. I love all of the waterfalls and the doll houses. The cherry blossoms flying around just make this area feel so magical and whimsical, and I feel like a fairy would definitely live here. Not another balloon just casually floating through. And I wanted to show you guys how it looks when I twist the camera. I love this effect so much, and I'm so glad they updated the camera so you can do this because you can really see all of the little corners that get hidden away. So obsessed with this area. And I wanted to give you guys a closer look of the entire build and the tree and all of the doll houses surrounding it. Doesn't it look so good? You guys should definitely try to recreate this on your island. It just looks so cool, and I'm going to show you guys how it looks at 5 a.m so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's how the build looks. I mean, I was obsessed with it before, but when you take away all of the sunlight in the background, everything just looks so much better. I love 5 a.m because it gives you like the best hybrid of nighttime, but you get like a little bit of the sunlight, which is always the best. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the build and the video, let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to join our little AC family. I'm still working on the cafe bookstore and my character, just trying to pay off all of these loans from Tom Nook so I can expand my house. So don't forget to have your post notifications on so you don't miss out on that video or any future videos. I love you all so much. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!